You all are keeping well, staying at home. Dear children, it's very important during this pandemic to stay at home. You are every time watching so many things around you, so many precautionary steps that are told by our authorities, our governments, our elder people, as well as many a times we are also telling this is the time where we should be very much cautious regarding our health. And as a student, each and every one of you should be very much careful for your health as well as for your studies also. Because your education is the only thing which will help you throughout your life. Why you are able to tell to other people that you should wash your hand, you should wear a mask? These are the things, these are the precautionary steps you're telling because you are somewhere aware of the fact that if you will not follow all these things, it may cause a very big issue for your health. So, I hope you all are well at home, safe at home, studying regularly, reading the notes, reading the books, and today in our session, we are going to have a look on Achyut Godbole, our narrator, that how he has faced so many difficulties in his life, how he has overcome that. He was a very hard-working boy, isn't it? In our last lecture, I told you, when he was in 7th standard, he used to solve the problem of 9th standard. Not to get attention, not at all to get praise, but to understand the concept, to make the concept of a particular equation very much clear in his mind. Now we have seen that he came 16th in SSC all over the Maharashtra, including Nagpur region. He was studying very well. He secured first rank in the university. And if you secured first rank in university in all the subjects, you are eligible to directly get admission for your IIT. But because he was from Solapur, no one in Solapur was knowing about this rule. He has given the entrance test and there he secured very higher percentage also. So somewhere you have to keep in your mind the hard work which he is doing as a boy, as a student, what he did. That today we are going to see that. You also have to keep in mind this. If something is not getting into your mind, if you are unable to solve some problem, some equation, some question, just don't give up. Practice for that. Because you all are very much familiar with that simple phrase, practice makes man perfect. Right? You all know it very well. So my dear children, looking into the life of Achyut Godbole, taking something great from him, getting the inspiration after reading the story about his life, an incident he has just now described here, which we will be seeing immediately. You also get to know one thing. When you will practice something, for sure, the success is all yours. looking into the incidents which he has described. I hope you all have your textbook with you. If you have, please turn on to page number 80. And there, the incident goes like this. Now he has taken admission in IIT, Mumbai. He says that I was not at all feeling very happy over there. The homely kind of feeling he was not getting. Why? Because he was living in Solapur, and he says that hardly he has seen any building which has 3-storied. But in Mumbai, you can see the skyscrapers are there. Very huge buildings are there with so many floors on them. So he says that at IIT, in IIT, first of all, the atmosphere has affected him. From Solapur to Mumbai, the atmosphere was completely different. Now he is living in hostel. And he says in IIT, the students, the scholars, the professors, where whoever they all are speaking in English. Whatever their conversation was going on with each other, only English was the language which they used to talk. Now, Achyut sir says that my English was very much poor. He says my entire education was in Marathi medium. He says I was from Marathi medium. Even my spoken English was very much pathetic, not at all good. You know, we call it tutti putti English. Just able to convey my idea, my thoughts. And he says that the vocabulary was also very weak. Pronunciation was terrible. Construction of English sentences were really very awkward. Not able to speak properly. Not at all. And he says that this is the time when I was feeling very lonely, very terrified that everyone here is speaking in English. They're communicating with each other in this language. And slowly he started developing some inferiority complex. The superior and inferior. Inferiority complex that he is very good in all subjects. He loves to solve mathematics problem. But when it comes to communicate just in one language, that is English, somewhere he is terrified. He wanted to run away from IIT and from Mumbai. Just imagine the situation. Whatever hard work he has done to get admission in IIT, just because he was not able to communicate properly, he wanted to run away from there. If you and me, if we are there at his place, I think the same thing we could have done. Just to run away. Why? Because we don't know how to communicate properly. He says that one day when he was sitting at his mess table having tea, one very senior student came. He had a conversation with him. He says that he was speaking in a very hi-fi English, so called as, and he says very sophisticated English he was speaking. Now, Achyut sir was not knowing how to speak properly. That's why he felt that he's an arrogant boy. He wanted to pull my leg. You know, when the person sitting next to you knows something more better than you, he wanted to pull your leg by asking you some questions which he knows or she knows that you won't be able to answer. This is the common situation we face many times. And when Achyut sir was communicating with him, in every sentences, the senior person, he used to point out 3 to 4 mistakes. And he just sat for 5 minutes with him, and that senior guy, he went away. Achyut sir felt very insulting. He really felt very humiliated and upset. You know, I'm such a topper. I'm the rank holder. First rank I got in university. But a person, just he came, He spoke few words. I am not able to communicate with him properly. That's why I'm feeling as if I am humiliated. This is the thing which we should not at all feel. As a student, my dear children, many a time I'm telling you, most of you know this very well, that, dear children, the biggest fear of you is आता ग्रामरचा काय. You know, this thing in class also I'm asking most of the students the same question, and the reply comes, everyone has the same reply, and that is, ma'am, about grammar. Many of the students, they are telling me, ma'am, grammar ची भीती वाटती, ma'am, grammar समझ में नहीं आता. Grammar is completely different from your speaking. To speak properly, what is important? You should practice. Stand before mirror, practice a time, read English newspaper, read English book, which I am telling you. Many a times I have told this to my students. Don't make that concept in your mind. Oh, I don't know how to speak in English, so I will not be able to come forward and to give oral, or if I am asked to say something for 2 minutes, I'll not be able to do because I don't know English. This is not the thing. I'm always telling that if you know how to speak Hindi very well, if you know how to speak Marathi very well, I'm 100% sure you know how to speak English very well. But only one fear is there, and that is, what about grammar? Take it out. Don't fear. Get inspiration from Achyut Godbole. Very clearly, he has mentioned that he was also feeling the same thing. He was also feeling very much upset, very much humiliated. He was feeling depressed, diffident, as if he's lacking confidence now. For a while, he thought that I should quit IIT. I should not stay here any long. He says, I was almost broken. Now, here, when he was about to quit everything, he said that the self-esteem, his self-esteem, he says, had somewhere inspired me, had stopped me. A feeling of determination and strength suddenly arose in him. For a moment, he was about to quit everything. This situation many times we also experience. When we are very much sad, when we are very much depressed, when we think that this thing is not possible for us, our self-esteem, our self-confidence, sometimes it really boosts us. That is your Atma Vishwas. Saying that you are able to do, you can do it. You may fail for twice, 3 times, 5 times, not more than that. But sometime, someday will come when you will be perfectly able to solve the problem. The same thing happened over here. Feeling of determination and strength came. He says, I will not quit. I'll not go back to Solapur again. Now, his achievements, he's recalling his achievements. He says, I was a rank holder in school, college, and IT. I have won so many awards in mathematics. Something is right with me. Something is right with me. That's why I have won everything. That's why I'm a rank holder. So why should I give up? I won't give up. And that also, just I don't know how to speak English. If this is the reason, I won't at all give it up. He says, I was determined to fight back. Now, fight back, he will not go and fight with that senior guy, but he will fight with his own fear. He will overcome his fear. And that's what he did. You will get this example in page number 81. Now, he says that when he went to his hostel room, the plan was ready in his mind. He says that those people who are from who's a regional, native, their native place or their native language is Marathi, they think in Marathi before speaking English. The construction of sentence, whatever we want to speak before the person, before the people who is asking us some question, the answer which we prepare in mind is completely in Marathi or in Hindi, whatever our native language is. And then when we try to convert it into English language, we try to translate it into English language, and that there some mistakes happen. He says that, please excuse me. He says that I want to do like this. I will not construct the sentence in Marathi in my mind and then later on try to translate it. No. I wanted to achieve excellence. And he started doing this work. He said, I want to achieve excellence. I will be successful in that. First thing he started doing that, he started reading English newspapers and English novel. To improve the vocabulary, to know how to communicate with people, what he started doing, he started reading newspaper, English novel. Because when I'm speaking with you and if suddenly something happens, if someone comes, when I'm teaching you, and if I look at that person, I say, yes, what you want? The way I'm speaking, or if someone is standing there and seeking for my permission, I may say, can you please wait? Yeah, come and sit. See how I have spoken. Yes, what do you want? After listening to this, the image or the thing is very much clear in your mind that what you want is means I am asking a question. You can get it from my accent. Same thing you will speak in Marathi also. काय पाहिजे तुम्हाला? It means you are asking question. You are not saying what you want question mark. Aren't you? Or in Marathi, काय पाहिजे तुम्हाला? प्रश्न चिन्ह. Is it like that? No. We get whether the person is asking, whether the person is telling something, whether the person is seeking some permission by the way, by the accent he or she is using. This is the one thing which we are doing when we are speaking in our native language. The same thing Achyut sir says that I have decided to achieve that. So started reading newspapers, started reading novels, studied etymology of phonetics, how to pronounce some words, whether to say phobia or phobia, whether to say 5 or 5, the phonetics. You know, I have just given you the example regarding the word F. Roots of the words is studied, how to pronounce them. Then he used to stand before the mirror. He used to talk with himself, correcting himself so many times, and then finally improving day by day. Of course, he said it took for him 9 to 10 months. It really took to achieve the confidence in speaking English. And after that, the fear has vanished, and he started feeling at this place, the place where he was feeling that I should run away from here, the campus of IIT. He started feeling the homely feeling over there. Now he says that, I'm reading it for you. Listen it carefully. In my future career, out of 32 years in information technology field, see, I'm reading it again. Listen to it carefully. Once after practicing for 9 to 10 months, when he got the confidence, he got the homely feeling in the IIT campus, he's describing about his achievements. He says that for 32 years in information technology field, I was the chief executive or managing director or head of software company with thousands of software engineers worldwide. You can say chief executive or managing director or head of software executives with thousands of software engineers worldwide. He says during that period, I had to give several presentations or negotiate mini contracts with the CEO. All over the world, worldwide, the engineers are there. Means, unless until you know how to speak English properly, you cannot do the presentations, you cannot negotiate with the CEOs, directors, or VPs in the US, UK, or Australia. He was negotiating, he was dealing with the directors or VIPs in the US, UK, or Australia. He said, I was feeling absolutely at ease at that time because I had that confidence. I got the confidence just by practicing, just by doing the hard work. He says it is only due to the efforts or at IIT that I could sign contracts worth millions of dollars worldwide and also run large global software companies. I'm reading it again, dear children. Listen to it carefully. Pay attention to what he wanted to say in these two lines. It is only due to the efforts. Efforts are very important. Your hard work, your determination. It is only due to the efforts at IIT that I could sign contracts worth millions of dollars worldwide and also run large global software companies. How he is holding so many of positions he has described over here. Now, he says that this is how I have achieved. He must be very happy now. I am excellent in everything. But suddenly something happened where he started thinking that whether I have achieved is sufficient for me or not. What? We will see here. He said that during my first 2 years, I got fairly good marks. But something very different happened when I was in my third year. He says that I came in contact with about 15 to 20 extremely brilliant students or researchers or professors from IIT, TIFR, and BARC. He says when he was in third year, he came in contact with 15 to 20 scholars, researchers, or professors from IIT, TIFR, BARC. They are different students, top students from IIT. Some are visiting professors in American university. Some are very renowned mathematicians in the world and so on. He says, immediately, instantaneously, I was attracted to this group. And the impact of this friendship has lasted till now. At that time, till he met this group of students, this group of researchers, he used to feel that I was very brilliant. He used to think, he used to consider himself that one of the very brilliant or intelligent student. However, he says that when I met with these people, I came in contact with these people, I realized that where I stood. I realized where I stood. And he says that actually I felt I'm very lucky that I came in contact with these people. And he says that when he was in this company, when he was in this group, he has achieved so many things. He is describing it. He says later in my life, when Mr. Narayan Murthy left Patni to start Infosys, you know who started Infosys, you know about Infosys. And he says Narayan Murthy, when he left Patni to start Infosys, I started heading Patni's software division, occupying the same chair. The chair on which Dr. Narayan Murthy used to sit before leaving Patni. When he left Patni to start Infosys, Achyut Godbole was the person who was heading that, who was shouldering that responsibility. He says, my head office was in Cambridge. He's describing his achievements now. My head office was in Cambridge, USA, near Boston. Directly from Solapur to Mumbai, he is heading towards his head office, which is in USA. He says that you will find an MIT building near there in America, the adjacent building to his office. And I had to visit the US every few months in those days. Maybe for the work, he used to visit USA every now and then for few months. And whenever he used to go there, I had to visit. I used to visit MIT during lunchtime to meet my friends. When he used to go to USA during lunchtime in MIT, he was waiting for his friends. He says, there one could see a couple of Nobel laureates at the dining table. So many scholars were sitting over there. He's saying that. You can see on the dining table a couple of people sitting who are Nobel Prize winners. You can see if you will walk for half an hour there, you will reach to Howard Square near Howard University. And you can talk to a number of Nobel Prize winners there also at Howard University. He says at that time I traveled to US a lot, then Europe, Japan and Australia. At these places, I have met great number of thinkers, management gurus, great number of thinkers, the people whose ideas are behind starting multinational companies. Management gurus, he has given some name as Alvin Toffler, Peter Drucker, C.K. Prahalad, Tom Peters, or he says the great technologists such as Vincent Cerf, who designed TCP or IP, which is the basic protocol of internet. He has met with so many great personalities during his life. All these discussions with this great broadened my horizon and my aims, and worldview became global. Every now and then he is visiting the places and he is meeting with the great people, the great personalities with a great mind, of course. Whatever they are discussing with each other, definitely Achyut Godobile is taking the best out of it. And he is saying that the worldview has changed for him. One thing he is very much clear. He says that it taught me humility and made me realize that I had to achieve a lot in life. And hard work as well as passion for excellence was going to play a very important and vital role in my life. He says that I have learned so many things, but one thing I have learned from all these people, from all these personalities, that humanity, humbleness, your passion for excellence should be there. You should work hard for that. This is the important lesson which he has learned for his whole life. Dear students, now he is telling that when he came back to my groups in IIT, when he came back in IIT, the friends, now his friend circles, they are not only much intelligent than him, but he says that they were very well read also. These people, they had interest in all subjects like science, technology, sociology, psychology, economics, philosophy, anthropology, archaeology, political science, etc. All these subjects are given in your textbook on page number 82. These are the people who have the knowledge, of all such things, who are well-read people. And our group was interested in all of these branches. Apart from all the fine arts, these are the different branches of different fields. His group is also interested in in fine arts, such as music, literature, painting. In short, he says that our group was interested almost in everything, as if anything under the sun, which concerned human life and existence. In everything, our group was interested. He says, immediately I was attracted to this group also and developed immense and deep interest in all these branches of knowledge. Fine arts, completely different from your sociology, anthropology, political science, psychology, economics. He started developing interest in all these things also. Now he says that none of these things were a part of our curriculum in IIT. In IIT, you're dealing with information technology. Your information technology is different from your sociology. Your information technology is different from your fine arts. He says that nothing has to do with our curriculum in IIT. But again, he says that I never studied just to score marks in examination. I thought it was necessary to pass the examination of life. He says that just to score good marks or just to get pass in the examination, it's not important. It's very important to pass the examination of life. It is very important to pass it. It is very difficult to become a master or an expert in all these subjects. But it was very important for me to understand at least the basic principle of most of these subjects. He says that of course it's very difficult to pass in all these subjects, but it is very important for me to at least understand the basic concept of these subjects. Any of us could easily top the GRE examination and migrate to US. However, that thought never seen touched our minds. The group of people in which Achyut Godbole was living, who has interest in all these things, which just now I told you, it was very easy for them to clear GRE examination. They can go to US, but he says that nothing touched our mind. He says then I dived into all these languages. I have done a lot of study in this knowledge. Okay, it was a period of renaissance for me. Renaissance, like a rebirth for me. He says that during that time we have discussed about so many of things like the theory of relativity, Big Bang theory. We have discussed about literature, philosophy, economics, many other subjects. Maybe sometime this discussion was going up to the night also. The cupboard of Achyut Godbole, he says, it was full of books. He says that I have a number of limitations, but one thing I am proud of is the curiosity, humanity, and humanity. That is the concern for our fellow being. He says that I have read so many books. I am having so many of books with me. We know a great progress in science and technology is being going on, but one thing is very important, that during this progress which is going on, it is very important to have the concern for humanity. He says that I learned this value during my IIT days. Also, he says that I became a firm believer in rationalism and equality for all caste, creeds, races, genders, and religions. I started treating nature as God and humanity as a religion. He is treating nature as God and humanity as a religion. After studying for so many things, after achieving so many things in life, for one thing he is very much sure and certain, and that is the concern for fellow human beings. Then he says that I passed from IIT. He joined a non-violent social movement for tribal Sarvodaya. He also participated in a peaceful satyagraha. He also went to jail for 10 days, he says. Then he says that I came back to Mumbai. I was there jobless for some days, for a few years. Then he got a job where he used to receive 125 rupees per month to supervise the workers at night shift. He says that in Mumbai, I changed 13 houses and finally settled on information technology and as my career. He says that near about 32 years I spent on this. He was a chief executive officer for 23 years for large global multinational software companies with thousands of software professionals worldwide and 6 offices in the US, 3 in Europe, 1 in Japan, and 1 in Australia. Achyut sir says, I had to travel all over the globe around 150 times for business. During this period, now when he is traveling, he has done another noble thing, and that is he has done the writing work. He says, I have written 4 books with 500 to 800 pages each on IT, and it was published by Tata McGraw. Then he was translated into Chinese for global distribution, for the worldwide distribution. Now he says that I learned so many things when he says I was running these companies. He says one thing is very clear, that in today's world, nothing is impossible without teamwork. You cannot be successful if you are a loner and an egoistic person. If you want to be a successful person, the teamwork is very important. Secondly, you need to lead from the front by setting a good example in front of your staff. Please excuse me. It means if you are leading, you have to lead in such a way which will set a good example for your fellow staff. Third is that you need to treat your subordinates and your colleagues as friends. Very important thing. Children, tomorrow when you will grow up, I hope, I bless you all that you should all have held a high position in your life. Remember these things which Achyut sir says. Never be an egoistic person. Never be a loner. Set a good example before your staff or before your team. You need to treat your subordinates, your colleagues as your friend. Never let the inferiority come in the mind of your subordinates or colleagues. Treat them as friends. Share with them everything. Talk with them as you talk with your friends. Never underestimate them. He says that he has also done few mistakes, but he learned from it. He became a good listener. The target setting he has done. He says that after working for in those software companies for many days, for many years, he says, I returned to my first love. And his first love is that writing. He has written on various subjects concerning human life and existence. And his love for writing is so much that he says that I gave up 2 offers of around 3 crore rupees per annum to become a writer. Sorry. 3 crore rupees per annum he gave up twice to become a writer. And he says that this is how my second inning as a Marathi writer has begun. Now, a small brief introduction about his writing work, I'll tell you. He says after that he has written 34 books in Marathis. Most of them are bestsellers. And he says that some are these books have not only well read, but they have brought some very good changes in the lives of thousands of readers. He says reading his autobiography means reading the autobiography Musafir and a book of psychology Manat. Okay? Hundreds have come out of depression. More than a dozen of people have given up the thought of suicide. They are starting a new phase. Hundreds are people coming and telling him that they have understood the theory of relativity or Big Bang theory. After reading my book on science, Kimiagar, after reading Mannat and Musafir, so many people have come out of depression, have given up the thought of suicidal, started a new beginning. So many people have understood the theory of Big Bang, the theory of relativity after reading his book written on Kimiagar. His boardroom, the book Boardroom on Management has created at least 20 successful entrepreneurs. Hundreds of people who says that we have now understood economic times on NDTV Profit. After reading the book on economics Arthat, many have turned to mathematics after reading book on mathematics Ganiti. The same is true about my books on Indian music, Nad Ved, English literature, Zapurza, about paintings, Canvas, about Western films, Limelight, and Western music, Symphony, or books such as Genius series, Rakta or Vitamins, or Anartha. These are some of the information about his books. Lastly, he says that it is this reaction of thousands of readers and the feelings that I am touching the hearts of thousands, if not lakhs of my readers, that keep me going. This is what he is saying. That the people have not only read the book, but something has changed in their attitude after reading the book of Achyut Godbole sir. Finally, he says that, why I am telling you my story. The last session says, when I look back, there are a number of lessons and values that I cherish and keep learning about even today. The reason behind telling you my story is that when I look back, the memories which I am cherishing, why is cherishing the memories? Because he has simply kept one thing in his mind, that is the love and concern for all human beings. Some of these are thirst for knowledge, curiosity, humanity, rationality, equality, teamwork, quest for excellence, never say die, thinking big. The values which he is telling, you have to preserve this in your life. And then we look back, definitely you are going to cherish in your memory. So, dear children, we are done with our 1.8, the first unit, Voyaging towards excellence. In our next session, we will be dealing completely with our question answer session. Till then, my dear children, please stay at home, stay safe, study, and of course, take care of the health of your near and dear one.